We're here to discuss one topic, which is the restructuring that has been going on in the airline the last few days. But maybe just take you a little bit back to some time when I talked to a number of you around the future of Kenya Airways. We were looking at expanding the airline, and we went out and ordered aircrafts. We ordered some 787s. They were due to have arrived 3 years ago. But then there's been a delay, and that delay has impacted us because we've not been able to grow as fast as we would have wanted. And at the same time, our own labor costs have gone up tremendously. If you look at our total labor costs in the year 2009, compare them with where we are now, we are right now at 13.2 billion shillings a year. Not million, but billions, which is double where we were in 2009. With our revenues not growing as fast as we had anticipated, we need to look at our costs. And one other major cost that has hit us is the fuel. Fuel prices have continuously gone up. And if you look at our total annual bill for fuel right now is 40 billion shillings. That's what we're paying for fuel. So we've had to look at a number of areas. And one is to try and make sure that we are efficient in the way we operate. We have had to cut down on a number of new routes that have not been paying, like, for instance, Rome. We've cut out Oman, where we were going out to. And we are continuously reviewing some of the routes and reducing frequencies. And we've also gone out to renegotiate some of the contracts that we have in some areas where possible. And then we've had to look at our own labor costs and say, look, what do we need to do in some of the areas? And we realize that in some of the areas, we are more inefficient to compare to some of the organizations that are working around the airport. And hence we decided to outsource to try and make sure in the end we have a saving of about 1 billion shillings a year from our own labor costs. You may ask yourself, how did we get into this? And you remember we had an issue with our own unions a few years ago. And at that time, we were forced into a situation where we had major increases in salaries and allowances. And we warned, even at that time, that this is not sustainable long term. And I think the chicken have come home to roost now. And in as far as efficiencies are concerned, it's a continuous subject. But we believe that after this exercise on labor costs, we should be able to deliver a sound business going forward. We are expecting arrival of the new aircraft, the large ones, because the small ones are starting to arrive. We've already got one that arrived last month. And we're going to get new aircrafts coming in every month for the next 7 months. But the larger aircrafts are starting to arrive early 2014. So between now and 2014, our growth will be minimal. You would also perhaps ask, but how comes you're cutting down on numbers yet you're increasing, you're expanding your own business? We are not cutting down on the operational areas significantly. When I say operational, you're looking at, say, crew. But we are looking at the support services, support departments, and saying, are there things we could do differently? We've invested a lot in technology. And we're cutting down and saying, are there areas that we can cut down and say, we don't need this anymore? And that is something that is common to businesses. It's not just KQ alone on doing this. The industry itself is also going through turmoil. We are not the only ones that are restructuring and cutting down numbers. If you look at Air France, I'm sure you've read in the press, it's cutting down. You look at the likes of Delta, they're doing it. You look at Qantas. Qantas have had to do something extraordinary that we never thought would ever happen by them having a relationship with Emirates. So it's a worldwide phenomenon that is affecting us as an industry, brought about by a lot of things. The economies are decreasing in a number of areas. You look at Europe, it's still struggling. Fuel prices are going up, and so forth and so forth. So we have to look internally and say, what do we need to do? Because if we don't do it, tomorrow we have no airline.